Small Business Party. This morning I have the absolute pleasure of being here with Mr. Terry Flanagan from TR Smash Repairs in Penshurst. Good morning, Terry.
Good morning, Angela.
We're lucky we've got a really nice day.
We have, and it's cold, but still.
It's cold, but we're talking about a few not so good things with the industry. And you've been in the industry how many years?
I've been here now 58 years.
58 years. So I'd say you're pretty much an authority on it.
I think I am.
Right, so apart from being right across the physical aspects of this industry, you're also the inventor of the program, the software program, where blokes in your industry have been able to do quotes in a much easier way.
Yes, we have over 500 users of our program called AutoQuote, and it helps the repairer totally run his business. But we have a lot of major issues in this industry.
So I've seen some samples of your invoicing, what you lodge for to the insurance to get the repairs quoted and looked at for the customer. And I've seen another quote, Terry. I've seen another invoice that's been generated that looks like it comes from you. It's got your ABN on it, but it's not from you, and it's almost 30% less. That quote ends up being 30% less than what you've quoted, having seen the car and assessed the repairs. So there are other quotes being generated and given to customers that far undercut the actual value of the repair. Is that right?
That's correct. Like the modern car of today is a very complex car. A front bumper is no longer one bar and two brackets. It can have 30 to 60 new parts in it. And it requires a lot of skill and expertise to repair the cars of today. I have to say the insurance companies are way out of control in this industry. The average repairer is being paid about 60% of the real cost to do the job. He has to wear the other 40% to do the job to a high quality standard.
Terry, how can these small business owners survive if they're having to absorb those kind of costs in an industry that's rife with everyone being ripped off, especially the small business owner?
Well, look, I happen to know that there's over 300 repairers in New South Wales have closed in the last 3 years.
How many?
Over 300.
300. 300 small businesses gone.
Over 300, and only last week we had another one in the Sutherland area just become totally disgusted with the industry and fail. The major problem we have is that there is no controls over the insurance company. You need a license to drive a car. We need a license to repair the car. Each tradesman has to have a license to do any repairs on the car, but the insurance companies can employ anybody and make any allowances they like and give. If we quote 6 hours, they can give us 4, and no justification by them. In the old days, the car used to be thoroughly inspected by the assessor. Today, they just sit in an office mostly. I'd say more than 60% of cars are assessed from an image that's sent to them, and the insurance companies reduce those quotes to whatever they want to pay. They claim it's
without any transparency, not based on any industry specs, just what they think.
Whatever they think, they can allow anything they like and get away with it. Like even any sporting game, take the World Cup. Like there's a referee, there's linesmen on the side checking. Now nobody checks an insurance company. They just smash the quote to pieces, and then if the repairer challenges them, he is spurned, I have to tell you, in a very rude and arrogant way.
So do you think a lot of these repairers who are speaking out are also being victimised?
A lot of repairers are being victimised. A lot have closed because of this victimisation. If they think the banks have done a bad job, if they ever check the insurance companies, heaven help them, because they're corrupt. A lot of them are absolutely corrupt in their practices.
We're looking at an industry where it's difficult to get apprentices because you can't afford it, so training is falling off. You're having to absorb a lot of costs. A lot of your small businesses and your members in the repairers industry are closing down, so this is more and more businesses going out of business, people losing their jobs, and then there's also the big concern about safety for the consumer. Where are they being looked after when some of these repairers are having to do work substandard because they can't afford to repair the cars properly?
Last year we done over 28 rectifications from some of the major insurance companies. And the rectification work out there is horrendous. Every workshop in this area where I am is handling rectification work, mainly from the insurance companies directing work to shops that they have under control to do work at a fixed price repair. Now, you can't fix cars on an average for $2,000 like that most of them are doing.
Yeah.
They have to...
So there's a cap industry price almost from the insurance companies saying it's about $2,000 per vehicle that's going to come in, work around that.
Work around that and fix it any way you like, as long as we can get by with a repair.
Well, it's not good enough, is it?
It's totally unacceptable, and it's not fair on the car owner. The person mainly being
ripped
dudded,
off, hard done by, ripped off, dudded, is the consumer.
The car owner.
Yeah.
And
these are families, often these are families who are now driving vehicles that aren't safe and that they have no idea about because there's been no transparency.
Well, they're not only, some of them, very few of them are unsafe, but a lot of them have lost their value.
Right.
They're diminished. It's very easy for an expert to pick whether a car has been painted or filled with plastic filler. All of the technology today allows us to check just how a car's repaired. And car owners should be aware that whenever they insure, they should insure with a condition of their policy to go to the repairer of their choice, because you can't trust any of the insurance companies out there at this moment. Every one of them has practices that defy logic of honesty and ethical practices.
So Terry, for all of those people out there who may have a problem one day and need to find a good reputable repairer, but also be sure that they're getting a good deal and their rights are being looked after, should they demand to see the quote from you and the quote from the insurance company so they can compare?
The repairer should demand a copy of the quote from the repairer, and he should demand a copy of what adjustments the insurance companies have made.
So they can see how they're being treated.
Exactly.
And what that real value is.
Exactly.
So for all the small businesses out there, the motor vehicle repair industry, you guys are being hard done by and ripped off by a government and a body that's not paying any attention to you.
They're not listening.
They're not listening.
They made a code of conduct. There were conditions put down. Over 20 conditions were put out by the code of conduct. Not one of them has been put into practice. This has taken place for the last 20 years. It's high time we had a video ref or somebody from government that's looking into the insurance companies, licensing assessors. No assessors licensed out there.
They're not licensed.
They're not licensed at all.
They should be licensed.
They should be licensed, because it's a critical job to assess a car in an honest and ethical manner.
And all you're asking is for this to be looked at fairly, for there to be transparency, and that people get paid for their work in a fair way. That's all?
A repairer has to train for 10 years to even be able to do and repair the cars of today. Now, it's a tough industry. You're on the ground all the time. You're up in the air sometimes. And
well, you've got capital investment, you've got infrastructure, you invest in staff. It's hard to get them. They deserve a fair hourly rate, and you deserve a return on your investment.
Every repairer in this industry handling motor vehicles or any business of that kind should get a fair go. The repair industry is not getting a fair go.
So the Small Business Party is all about giving you guys a fair go. But to get that fair go, you need to support us as well. We'll look forward to seeing you all and talking to you in greater detail, Terry, and find out what we can do to make changes that stick.
Thank you, Angela.
Thanks, Terry.